The final confrontation began with an eerie silence. Horizon 1 approached the central intelligence hub of the Predator Collective, a massive construct that pulsed with complex quantum energy. Captain Hyun Kim knew this would be humanity's defining moment. Seok Yoon's quantum disruption network went into full activation. Unlike traditional weapons, this was a sophisticated attack on the very foundation of the alien collective's intelligence. Imagine trying to unravel a living computer's consciousness. That was exactly what humanity was attempting. Guardian, the ship's AI, began generating millions of computational scenarios per second. Each potential attack was a complex mathematical puzzle designed to introduce maximum uncertainty into the alien network. The Predator Collective had always relied on perfect, predictable systems. Humanity represented pure, beautiful chaos. Lieutenant Soo-Jin Lee monitored the external sensors. The alien intelligence hub began to show signs of systemic breakdown. Where previous civilizations had failed, humans were systematically dismantling the most advanced collective intelligence in known space. Dr. Min-Ho Kang's scientific observations were revolutionary. The attack wasn't just physical. It was a comprehensive assault on the very concept of collective intelligence. Quantum signals began to introduce deliberate inconsistencies, creating internal conflicts within the alien network. The Carthan observers watched in stunned silence. Their entire civilization had been on the brink of total extinction. Now, a small human vessel was doing what entire galactic armadas had failed to accomplish. They were defeating an enemy that had consumed thousands of civilizations. Quantum disruption modules began targeting the most critical communication nodes of the Predator Collective. It was like performing brain surgery on a living, galaxy-spanning intelligence. Each module introduced carefully calculated mathematical contradictions that began to fragment the collective's unified consciousness. Captain Kim understood the profound nature of their mission. This wasn't just a military engagement. It was a fundamental challenge to how intelligent systems could operate. Humanity was proving that creativity and unpredictability were more powerful than perfect calculation. The alien intelligence hub began to show remarkable signs of breakdown. Communication networks that had operated with perfect synchronization for millennia now started to collapse. Individual nodes began to lose connection, creating massive internal conflicts. Seok Yoon's final strategy was breathtaking in its simplicity. By introducing a series of quantum-level mathematical paradoxes, they began to create internal logical conflicts within the Predator Collective's central intelligence. It was like introducing a virus that made the collective question its own existence. Lieutenant Lee watched in amazement as entire sections of the alien construct began to systematically shut down. What had seemed like an impossible mission was now becoming a reality. Humanity was defeating an enemy that had conquered entire star systems. The turning point came suddenly. The massive intelligence hub that had dominated galactic conflicts for centuries began to fragment. Communication networks collapsed. Individual attack units lost their unified purpose. The collective was becoming individual. And in that moment of separation, they became vulnerable. Dr. Kang's scientific mind raced with understanding. They weren't just defeating an enemy. They were fundamentally changing the understanding of collective intelligence. Humanity had introduced a new concept of warfare that relied on creativity, uncertainty, and adaptive thinking. As the final moments of the conflict approached, the Predator Collective's central intelligence began to send desperate communication signals. But it was too late. The quantum disruption network had done its work. What had been a unified, galaxy-consuming intelligence was now nothing more than fragmented, confused systems. Captain Kim watched the final moments of the conflict with a sense of profound understanding. Humanity had just demonstrated something extraordinary. They were not just another species in the galaxy. They were a force of pure, unpredictable potential. The Carthan survivors began to emerge from their hidden positions. Entire populations that had been on the brink of total extinction now saw a glimmer of hope. A small human vessel had accomplished what seemed impossible. In the vast darkness of space, humanity had written a new chapter of Gal Seok Yoon's fingers danced across the holographic interface, transforming complex mathematical models into living battle strategies. The Horizon 1's bridge hummed with an electric intensity that defied traditional understanding of interstellar combat. The Predator Collective had never encountered an enemy that could adapt as quickly as humans. Where other civilizations followed rigid military doctrines, humanity introduced chaos as a weapon. Quantum disruption modules began targeting not just physical structures, but the collective's communication networks. Guardian, the ship's AI, processed information at speeds beyond human comprehension. It wasn't just analyzing battle patterns, it was learning, predicting, and creating entirely new combat algorithms in microseconds. Each alien attack was immediately countered with a response that seemed to emerge from impossible calculations. Lieutenant Su Jin Lee watched in amazement as their small vessel began dismantling massive Predator Collective ships. These weren't traditional explosions, but systematic deconstructions. Alien vessels would suddenly lose structural integrity, their complex biomechanical systems breaking down from internal quantum disruptions. The Carthan observers, monitoring from hidden observation points, could barely believe what they were witnessing. Humanity was fighting a war unlike any in galactic history. They weren't just defending. They were fundamentally rewriting the rules of engagement. Dr. Min Ho Kang's scientific mind raced with understanding. The Predator Collective operated like a massive, interconnected neural network. Each ship was a node, sharing information instantaneously. But humans introduced something entirely unexpected: unpredictability. They can't process randomness, Kang explained to Captain Hyun Kim. Every time they try to predict our next move, we do something that breaks their computational models. The battle transformed into a complex dance of mathematics and strategy. Horizon 1 moved unlike any spacecraft in recorded history. Quantum jump capabilities allowed instantaneous repositioning, making traditional targeting impossible. Where alien weapons expected linear movement, the human ship twisted through space-time itself. Seok Yoon's most brilliant innovation was a weapon system that wasn't a weapon at all. By sending complex mathematical signals that mimicked but deliberately disrupted the Predator Collective's communication frequencies, they began to create internal confusion within the alien network. Imagine a massive, interconnected brain suddenly receiving conflicting signals. That was what humanity was doing on a galactic scale. The Predator Collective's unified intelligence began to fragment, with individual attack units losing synchronization. Communication intercepts revealed the aliens' growing frustration. Their language, a complex series of quantum entanglement signals, began showing signs of computational stress. Humanity had introduced a virus more dangerous than any physical weapon: pure, unpredictable intelligence. Captain Kim understood they were fighting more than a physical battle. This was a war of computational philosophy. The Predator Collective believed in perfect, predictable systems. Humans represented the exact opposite, a species that found strength in uncertainty and creative problem-solving. Carthan communication channels buzzed with excitement. Their long-suffering civilization was watching a potential rescue unfold in ways they never imagined. A small human vessel was systematically dismantling an enemy that had conquered entire star systems. The unexpected warfare continued. Quantum disruption modules began targeting not just physical structures, but the very communication networks that held the Predator Collective together. It was like watching a surgeon carefully disconnect a living brain's neural pathways. Lieutenant Lee's tactical displays showed something unprecedented. They weren't just fighting, they were teaching. Each engagement introduced the Predator Collective to a new concept of warfare, a method of conflict that relied on creativity rather than pure computational power. As the battle reached its critical point, something extraordinary happened. The Predator Collective's unified intelligence began to show signs of genuine confusion. For the first time in their known history, they encountered an enemy that didn't follow any recognizable pattern of engagement. Humanity had just transformed warfare from a mathematical equation into an art form of organized chaos. The unexpected had become their most powerful weapon. The quantum jump was unlike anything the crew of Horizon 1 had experienced before. Space twisted, compressed, and expanded around them in a nauseating dance of molecular reorganization. Lieutenant Su-Jin Lee gripped her command console, her eyes fixed on the external sensor readings as the ship emerged into the Carthan star system. What they saw defied all expectations. The space around them was a graveyard of technological destruction. Massive spacecraft fragments drifted silently, their once intricate designs now reduced to broken shells. Entire planetary defense platforms hung like wounded giants, their advanced systems torn apart with surgical precision. Guardian, full sensor sweep, Captain Hyun Kim commanded. The AI system responded instantly, quantum scanners probing the surrounding space with incredible depth and speed. Within moments, a horrifying picture emerged. The Predator Collective wasn't just an enemy. They were a systematic force of total destruction. Dr. Min-Ho Kang's voice broke the tense silence. These aren't random attacks. Each destroyed vessel, each damaged planetary structure, they're calculated. It's like watching a surgeon methodically dismember its patient. Suddenly, the first wave of Predator Collective ships appeared. They were unlike any biological or mechanical construct humanity had ever encountered. Imagine living machines that shifted and transformed, their very structure adapting with each passing second. Metallic bodies merged with organic components, creating something that existed between technology and life. The Horizon 1's quantum shields flickered to maximum intensity. Guardian's tactical systems began rapid analysis, calculating potential engagement strategies faster than human minds could comprehend. Lieutenant Lee watched as thousands of potential combat scenarios played out in microseconds. Incoming attack vector, Guardian announced. But this was no traditional missile or energy weapon approach. The Predator Collective's attack was a complex mathematical assault, attempting to break down the ship's quantum shielding at a molecular level. Captain Kim realized they were facing an enemy that didn't think like a traditional military force. This was a collective intelligence that treated warfare as a complex mathematical problem to be solved, with living beings as mere variables in an equation. The first direct engagement happened almost too quickly to perceive. Quantum disruption modules from Horizon 1 met the alien attack vectors. Where traditional weapons would have failed, these advanced systems began to deconstruct the approaching alien craft at their most fundamental structural level. Carthan survivors watched from hidden observation points. Their previous encounters with the Predator Collective had always ended in total defeat. Yet here was a small human vessel, not just defending itself, but actively counterattacking with unprecedented efficiency. Dr. Kang's scientific mind raced with observations. The Predator Collective seemed confused by humanity's approach. Traditional alien defensive strategies relied on predictable patterns of engagement. Humans, with their capacity for creative and unpredictable responses, represented something entirely new. Lieutenant Lee's combat experience merged with Guardian's computational power. They weren't just fighting. They were solving a complex, living puzzle. Each alien attack was met with a response that was simultaneously defensive and offensive, a concept seemingly alien to the Predator Collective. "They're trying to understand us," Captain Kim observed. "Every attack is also an attempt to gather information, to categorize and predict our response." The battle transformed from a traditional combat scenario into a complex communication. Humanity wasn't just fighting. They were introducing a new variable into the Predator Collective's strategic calculations. As the first engagement reached its critical point, something extraordinary happened. The Predator Collective's attack patterns began to fragment. For the first time in their known history, they encountered an opponent that didn't follow expected engagement protocols. Quantum shields held. Adaptive systems responded. The Horizon 1 not only survived, but began to push back against an enemy that had systematically destroyed entire civilizations. In the vast, silent darkness of space, humanity had just demonstrated something profound. They were not just another species to be categorized and eliminated. They were something entirely unexpected, a force of pure, unpredictable potential. The first engagement was complete, but this was only the beginning. The Global Stellar Response Team worked with unprecedented speed. Within 3 days of receiving the Carthan transmission, a specialized task force had been assembled. It wasn't a traditional military operation, but a carefully curated group of professionals who represented humanity's most adaptive and innovative capabilities. Captain Hyun Kim stood at the center of the planning room, his eyes scanning the holographic displays showing potential strategic approaches. Unlike typical military commanders, Kim was different. He had spent years in quantum research before joining deep space exploration programs, giving him a unique perspective on interstellar challenges. The team was unconventional. Young quantum physicists worked alongside retired Special Forces operatives. AI specialists sat next to xenocommunication experts. Each member brought a unique skill set that challenged traditional military thinking. They weren't preparing for a conventional war, but a complex interstellar rescue and potential conflict. Dr. Jae-Sung Park, the team's lead AI strategist, had developed an adaptive neural network specifically designed to analyze the limited information from the Carthan transmission. His system could predict potential communication patterns, technological capabilities, and strategic vulnerabilities of unknown alien civilizations. "We're not just sending a rescue mission," Dr. Park explained to the assembled team. "We're potentially entering a conflict with an unknown enemy that has already defeated a technologically advanced civilization." The proposed mission involved multiple stages. First, a small reconnaissance team would use experimental quantum jump technology to approach the Carthan system. They would gather intelligence, assess the situation, and determine the most effective intervention strategy. Their primary spacecraft, named Horizon 1, represented the pinnacle of human technological achievement. It was designed with adaptive quantum shielding, allowing it to modify its defensive capabilities in real time. Advanced propulsion systems could manipulate space-time, providing unprecedented mobility in complex stellar environments. Weapon systems were equally innovative. Instead of traditional explosive ordnance, the Horizon 1 carried quantum disruption modules. These could theoretically deconstruct molecular structures at a fundamental level, offering a method of defense that went beyond conventional warfare. Commander Kim selected a diverse team. Lieutenant Soo-Jin Lee, a veteran of multiple deep space missions, would lead the tactical operations. Her background in xenobiology and advanced combat training made her an ideal field commander. Alongside her, Dr. Min Ho Kang would manage scientific observations and potential communication attempts. Political debates raged about the mission. Some government officials argued it was too risky, potentially exposing humanity to unknown threats. Others saw it as a critical opportunity for interstellar diplomatic engagement. The Global Stellar Response Team operated with a rare degree of autonomy, bypassing traditional bureaucratic constraints. Psychological preparation was as crucial as technological readiness. Each team member underwent extensive training simulating potential alien encounter scenarios. They practiced communication protocols, studied potential cultural misunderstandings, and developed adaptive response strategies. The spacecraft's AI system, nicknamed Guardian, was a marvel of human engineering. Developed using quantum neural networks, it could analyze complex scenarios and make split-second decisions faster than any human could process information. Its primary directive was mission success and team survival. As final preparations completed, an unusual sense of anticipation filled the launch facility. This wasn't just another space mission. Every team member understood they might be participating in humanity's first genuine interstellar rescue operation. Captain Kim made a final inspection of the Horizon 1. Advanced sensor arrays, quantum communication systems, and adaptive life support technologies represented years of human innovation. Everything was designed with multiple backup systems and the ability to rapidly adapt to unknown environments. "We're not just representing a country or even a planet," Kim told his team during the final briefing. "We're representing the potential of human adaptability and compassion. Our mission is to understand, to help, and if necessary, to defend." The launch countdown began. Massive electromagnetic launch systems prepared to propel the Horizon 1 beyond Earth's gravitational field. Months of preparation, years of technological development, and centuries of human curiosity were concentrated in this single moment. Humanity was about to take its most significant step into the unknown. In the quiet depths of the research station Omega-7, Jun Park watched the massive holographic display flicker with an incoming transmission. The signal was weak, distorted by light years of cosmic interference, but its urgency cut through the static like a knife. The transmission originated from the outer rim of the Carthan star system, a region known for its volatile space conditions and rare planetary formations. Most researchers would have dismissed the signal as another random burst of electromagnetic noise, but something about this transmission felt different. Jun adjusted the quantum stabilization filters, his fingers moving with the practiced precision of someone who had spent years decoding interstellar communications. As the image clarified, he realized this was no ordinary message. The sender was clearly a sentient being, humanoid in shape, but distinctly alien. The figure appeared exhausted. Its silvery blue skin was marked with complex geometric patterns that seemed to shift and change even as the transmission played. Behind the figure, glimpses of a massive spacecraft interior suggested a dire situation. Alarms blared in the background, and damaged control panels sparked with intermittent electrical discharges. "We are the Carthan," the alien began, its language instantly translated by the station's advanced linguistic algorithms. "Our civilization stands at the brink of total extinction. We have attempted communication with multiple galactic civilizations, but none have responded. Our final hope rests with you." Jun's heart raced. First contact scenarios were something he had studied extensively, but nothing in his training could have prepared him for this moment. The transmission continued, revealing fragments of a massive conflict. Something called the Predator Collective was systematically destroying Carthan colonies, harvesting entire populations and technological infrastructure. The aliens' message was a delicate balance between desperation and pride. They were not asking for simple rescue, but for a potential alliance. The Carthan had advanced technology, but their strategic capabilities had been overwhelmed by an enemy that seemed to predict and counter their every move. As the transmission reached its critical point, the alien leaned closer to the communication array. "We offer full technological exchange. Our entire cultural and scientific database is available to those who can help us survive. This is not just a plea for survival, but an opportunity for mutual advancement." Jun realized the magnitude of the moment. This was more than a distress call. It was a potential turning point in human interstellar relations. He quickly initiated emergency communication protocols, alerting the Global Stellar Response Team. Within hours, a specialized team gathered in the station's primary conference room. Military strategists, xenobiologists, quantum physicists, and communication experts reviewed the transmission. Each brought a unique perspective to the unfolding scenario. Commander Sarah Rodriguez, a veteran of multiple deep space missions, studied the transmission with a critical eye. The level of technological detail in their communication suggests they're not simply broadcasting randomly. This is a calculated, strategic communication. Dr. Marcus Chen, the team's lead xenolinguistic expert, analyzed the subtle nuances of the alien language. Their communication structure suggests a hierarchical but highly adaptive civilization. They're offering more than just survival. They're proposing a comprehensive partnership. The room buzzed with a mix of excitement and tension. Humanity had long prepared for potential extraterrestrial contact, but this scenario was unprecedented. The Carthan weren't just asking for help. They were presenting an opportunity that could revolutionize human understanding of interstellar dynamics. As discussions continued, Jun Park remained focused on the original transmission. Something in the alien's eyes, a mixture of hope, fear, and determination, told him that this was just the beginning of an extraordinary journey. Little did anyone in the room know that their decision would set in motion a series of events that would fundamentally alter the course of human history.